So one thing that I've been trying to achieve for the past few months, good few months, was getting to this point where all of the distractions and all of the high dopamine activities which spike my dopamine get removed from my life, and the only things which are left are extremely low dopamine actions. Stuff like reading, going for walks, doing chores around the house. And the what I was trying to achieve by getting to this point was I was trying to make work, productive work, like making YouTube videos, become the most fun part of my day, and hence make me a lot more consistent in making my YouTube videos, make my YouTube videos better, and spend more time on them. Because again, it's either I make YouTube videos, which is in this at that point fun, or I just spend the entire day being pretty bored. So what I ended up doing was over the course of a good few months, I ended up completely stopping all kind of content consumption. I stopped watching anime, movies, playing video games. I haven't even played video games in a while, but movies, anime, even social media. And the thing that probably took the longest was kind of killing my social life and getting my friends and everyone to kind of stop inviting me, because they used to invite me basically every single day, and I would always go because I'd be bored and stuff, and I wouldn't have the discipline to say no. So then I would go hang out with them. That would spike the dopamine, and then when I come home, I wouldn't really feel like making a video. And so what ended up happening was a good few months pass. I work on this, and then I achieve it. And then I get to this point. This was just a few days ago, where it's like this day, which a few months ago when I started this, I would have thought was perfect. I woke up, I did my morning routine, I went to work, I came home, I read, I did a workout, and then I kind of just did nothing for the rest of the day. The videos were already made for the week, so all I needed to do was just get them uploaded, which wasn't that much work. And what I realized through on that day, that I finally was able to completely stop consuming content, going out, everything, was just how bad of a decision getting my life to this point was. Because what I expected was that because my dopamine was going to be so low, every action which spikes dopamine even a little bit was going to be super fun, super entertaining, super satisfying, and gratifying to do. But this wasn't the case. Stuff like cleaning your room is never really going to be that fun. Stuff like going for a walk is going to be nice, but it's never really going to be dopamine. It's never going to be that fun or exciting. And all that you achieve by getting your life to this point is you effectively make it extremely boring. And by doing so, you destroy your mental health, you make yourself lonely, and that in turn makes you less productive and less likely to do the productive work. Because look at it this way, my idea was I'm gonna cut out everything, all dopamine, only be left with like the boring things. Work in comparison becomes fun, and then I start just doing work. But what really happened was I got my life to the point where there was nothing fun going on. I was not hanging out with anyone, I was not going out anywhere, I wasn't even consuming content, and I realized that I was getting depressed and lonely, which then worsened my mental health, completely ruined my motivation, and got me to want to work on my work even less. Got me to not want to do work or anything productive at all, just because my motivation and my mental health was so low. And the solution that I realized, that I kind of figured out, that I think is the best one, which I'm trying currently, is literally just not going back to consuming content. Okay, that's fine. You're at home, you're not consuming content. You're creating content, or maybe you're learning for like a book, but you're not like scrolling on Instagram or watching like Minecraft YouTube videos, right? You're not playing video games or anime or anything. But you still go out with friends. Not every day, you don't have to do it every day, but at least a few times a week. So what I started doing was just started planning stuff. I became the initiator again. My voice just cracked. I became the initiator again. I started inviting friends over to go to trips, have trips, or go to town or go even something as simple as get a cup of coffee in a cafe. In just doing this, I can already feel like a few days after that my mental health is just going up, my motivation with it, and just the quality of life, everything. Like, that's another big cope that I had with going out with friends. I would always think, like, going out with friends, whether it's getting drunk or even if it's something healthy like going for a walk, isn't really worth doing because what you're doing is you're spending your time and you're spending your money. Or I thought you were completely wasting your time and you're completely wasting your money because you just go out, you chat some shit with your friends, you have a few laughs, and you come home and you didn't work closer, you didn't get closer to your goals, you didn't really get healthier or anything like that. And I thought that that was a complete and utter waste of time and money. For that reason, I avoided it for a really long time. Like I'm probably for like the past year, or maybe even years, I've kind of been just avoiding it because like thinking that it's completely unproductive and that it's more productive to stay at home and do something like this. But what I realized was that the price of money and time that you pay in order to go out with your friends, what you're really paying for, isn't something direct. Like, okay, you're paying and you're gonna get closer to your goals, or you're gonna become richer, or you're gonna get more jacked. In some cases, okay, if you go to the gym with your friends, then okay. But if it's something like you go to a cafe to drink coffee with your friends, and are thinking I'm wasting time, I'm spending time, and I'm spending money, what you're spending it on isn't something direct, like getting closer to your goals. Indirectly, you do get closer to your goals, but let me explain. What that gives you, and this is the big realization I had, is it improves your quality of life, which then improves your mental health, improves your happiness, which then improves your motivation, which makes you more motivated to work and it makes you happier. So your work becomes more productive and more higher quality because you're happier, in a better mood and better mental health when you're doing the work. So indirectly, it makes you work better. But what I mean is, like, imagine there's two guys. They both have the exact same lives. The only difference is one guy goes and hangs out with his friends 2 to 3 times a week. Maybe he gets drunk, let's say once a month, goes to like a party, but in general, he go get a cup of coffee with friends, he go watch a movie, he just hangs out with them a good few times a week. The other guy does the exact same thing, or lives the exact same life. The only difference is he doesn't go out with friends. He's always at home, but he has a little bit more money and he has a little bit more time to work on his goals and whatever he's passionate about, right? Or if he's trying to make money or whatever, could be productive in his life. So one guy goes out, he still works on his goals, he still, saves up money, he's, working a job, maybe part-time. He's got money, just less of it than this guy, and he's got slightly less time to work on his goals than this guy. Whose life would you rather live? Guy number one or guy number two? You'd probably say guy number one, because he's got a way more fun life, his mental health is way better, he gets actual fun experiences, and he's not wasting away his precious young years in his room working on whatever. Which, yeah, of course, it's important to work on your goals and achieve big things, sure. But do you really think guy number one is gonna achieve his goals any phone? So as I was saying, do you really think guy number one is gonna achieve his goals that much slower than guy number two? For all for all we know, guy number one might just achieve his goals quicker than guy number two. Because think about it, his mental health is better, his motivation is higher, meaning he's probably more inclined to get work done, and the work he gets done is more high quality. So it's like you have two lives where it's like this guy has a great life, which is fun, social, vibrant. He enjoys doing his work, he's motivated to do it, and the work ends up being really good, even better, and he gets the work done and he achieves his goals even quicker. Well, this guy spends more time on his work, but he's kind of lonely and depressed, and the work kind of suffers, and his motivation suffers, and he reaches his goals slower. So yeah, maybe if they're both working part-time jobs, this guy is gonna have slightly more money saved up because he's not spending it on coffee and gas to go to whatever the town with his car and whatnot. But this guy achieved his goals quicker, lives a happier life, and is happier. And this guy, what? Maybe has slightly more free time and slightly more cash. what you're paying for effectively when you go out and you pay with money and time to go out with friends is you are kind of continuously, if you wanna kind of imagine it that way, you're continuously refilling your happiness level in life, right? It's not enough for you to just go out once a year with your friends and then spend the entire time at home. At least in my case. It makes you depressed, makes you lonely, makes you sad, right? You need to at least once or a few times a week kind of keep refilling that happiness by going out. And that takes money, it takes time probably. It takes time definitely, but it might also take money. So what you're doing effectively by spending that money, the price of that time and money gets you to be continuously happier, in a better mood, and have better mental health. That is what you're paying for when you go out with your friends. Maybe you get drunk, maybe you go for a walk, maybe you go to the movies, whatever you do. When you spend that time and money, it's not going to waste. It is going into your general consistent mental health being or maintaining a high level. That's the realization that I had. Basically, moral of the story, moral of the video, do not kill your social life. Be social, hang out with friends, even if sometimes I think it's fine even to get drunk sometimes. Do something fun like that. Don't do it every night or don't even do it every week. Maybe do it like once every 2 weeks. But be social, go out with friends, see the light of day. Don't just lock yourself in your room. It'll make you depressed, it'll make you lonely, and the work will suffer in the end anyway. And of course, your social skills and everything will suffer a ton as well. If you found this video helpful, I think you'll find a lot of value in this video right here. Click on the subscribe button and do the work.